And welcome back to my channel, unless you're new here, and then just welcome. My name is Rusty, and this is my channel where I talk about me movies, mostly horror, and welcome to the 13 horror subgenres tag. I watched a video from Nick at the Movie Ranker, and he had tagged me along with some others in his 13 horror subgenres tag video that he's created. So I'm doing this for him. And yeah, it was fun to watch his selections, a couple of which are also mine. And yeah, it sounded like a fun thing to do. So, of course, I can't really do anything simple. So, yeah, I had to hunt down all the movies that I wanted. So it was a long trip through the collection, getting out everything that I wanted. But like I said, I can't never really do anything simple. It's sort of like running my mouth. There's a Concrete Blonde song called Little Conversations, and there's a line in it that just says me so well. And that is, I never could say anything in 20 words or less. Yeah, I'm either shut up or I blab. So that's the way we go. So yeah, this was a little interesting tag. It's basically, he picked out 13 horror subgenres, several of which are very fluid. A lot of these genres kind of like overlap each other, which is fine. So it's, I guess, up to personal taste which film you want to put in which genre. But yeah, so he chose 13 horror subgenres in which he picked out his current favorite movie of that subgenre. So that's what we're going to do, and we begin with slashers. Now, slasher is my favorite horror subgenre. I like so many that it's not funny. Trying to come down, to just one to choose is very difficult. But then again, these kinds of things are always really difficult for a collector because I've damn near got almost 3,000 movies, and with slashers being my favorite, that's a lot to choose from. Everything from, The Burning and Pieces and just everything you can think of, Valentine and all the Screams and all the Friday the 13th, most of them, and the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, and just on and on and on, from indies that you've never heard of to very popular ones. So my choice for the best slasher is Friday the 13th Part 2. That is my favorite slasher. Out of the hundreds and hundreds that I own, that would be the favorite. Just everything about Friday the 13th Part 2. It's my favorite of the franchise, and it is my favorite slasher. I, of course, love all the others. I love Halloween 1 and 2 and 6, and H2O, and I love The Burning and Sleepaway Camp and everything in between. But yeah, if I have to choose one to take with me to that desert island that also happens to have a functioning theater system, it would be Friday the 13th Part 2. People often say that if you had 10 movies you could take to you on a deserted island, what would it be? Well, hopefully it's got a theater system, or otherwise, what are you going to do with them? So, yeah. It would be Friday the 13th, would be my number one slasher, and that's just the way that goes. Now, the next genre was found footage. I do like a lot of found footage. Found footage bleeds a lot in with the webcam movies, screen. I know there's a subgenre because it's kind of a new subgenre. Unfriended dark web, searching, spree, all that kind of stuff. So there's like a really big blend between those two. So the movies that I've chose for this subgenre, the runner-up is Afflicted. Now, Afflicted would also fit very well in the vampire subgenre, but it is found footage. It is an amazing movie, and it is the runner-up to the winner, and that is my favorite found footage movie is As Above, So Below. Now, this is the brand new Scream Factory, I guess, did a new release of it. I do have the other Blu-ray as well, so this is a double dip. I don't know if they remastered it, but they did clean it up, so it is technically messed with. As Above, So Below. I like the Blair Witch. I like Blair Witch 2. I love Unfriended. It's one of my favorite, and the screen horror, web screen. I love Exploited. Dark Web is another of my favorites. Unfriended, Dark Web, Friend Request. There's just so many of them, and I thought that was a werewolf, but it's some really big dog walking through my yard. So, yeah. As Above, So Below takes my prize as my current found footage. And moving on to the next, we have another very difficult one, and that is zombies. Now, as I have said, you've seen a lot of videos recently on my channel, zombie festivals, and that's because that genre is actually kind of new to me. All through my life, I've not been like a super fan. I had 28 Days Later, I had Shaun of the Dead, I had, a few little zombie movies here and there, but it wasn't a subgenre that I paid much attention to until like 2 years ago. Then for some reason, I saw Wormwood and all the other zombie flicks, and I just went nuts with zombie movies. And now it's like really one of my favorite subgenres. So I've been doing a lot of zombie festivals because it's new to me. I'm catching up with a lot of these things. Now, I love movies like Alone and Train to Busan and just all across the genre. I would have to say the runner-up in the zombie genre to me is The Night That Eats the World. Or The Night Eats the World. No. The Night Eats the World. This is a British zombie flick. It's very unique. It reminds me of another of my favorite zombie flicks called Alone. That's got Donald Sutherland in it. But yeah, I absolutely am transfixed by this particular movie. It's just really great. And that would be the runner-up. To the winner, my favorite, I guess, currently at this time, my favorite zombie film that I have the most fun repeatedly watching is 1990's Night of the Living Dead. So Night of the Living Dead takes the remake, takes the prize for me. I just really love this movie. I love watching it over and over. I love Patricia Tallman. I love, Tony Todd. I love the characters. I love the story. I love the way they did the 1991. And, so Night of the Living Dead is my choice for zombie subcategory. The next category he chose, or he created, well, he didn't create them, but that he listed, was animal or nature, something, And I'm like, okay, well, that could cross a lot of genres, Godzilla's an animal, But with me, it was, the second that I saw it, of course, it was going to be sharks. Sharks would be my favorite animal, crazed animal, I love Cocaine Bear, and Grizzly, and Prophecy, which I'm just going to get that. They've just come out with a new remaster of Prophecy, and I've got to have that. But yeah, so the typical go-to for most people would be Jaws, of course, and no knock to Jaws. It's right there at the top of my list as well. But this is one of those that I agree with him on, and that is I'm going to choose Deep Blue Sea. Now, this is the brand new Arrow Super box set remaster of Deep Blue Sea, which is going to be in my what did I get it in May? Well, it's got a book and a poster, a huge book, and I'll show it off more in that May update. But this is the brand new Arrow remaster of Deep Blue Sea, and yeah, I would have paid anything. So I'm very happy to have that, and it hits the number one of my animal nature horror subgenre, which was always going to be sharks. Sharks, I love serious shark movies. You're not going to find any of that stupid shit in my collection. We don't do no Sharknado or Arizona Women's Prison Shark Massacre or anything stupid like that. But when you're talking Shark Bait and Shark Night and The Shallows, and I love this whole franchise. I love Deep Blue Sea 2 and 3. I love The Reef. I love Open Water 1, 2, and 3. I love that whole franchise. Bait, the Australian one, Bait in the grocery store. That is one of my favorite. So, and probably the best shark movie that's come out in the last 10 years was Shark Bait. That movie just kills me. I love that movie. So, there's some good ones. We're in a kind of a dry spell right now with shark movies. But with this genre, Sharks was always going to be at the top. And Deep Blue Sea sits at the top of that. And this is so beautiful. Now, the next genre is extraterrestrial. Extraterrestrial. So, of course, it's going to be one of my alien movies. But the runner-up is going to be Predator 2. This is the special edition DVD packaging, which I like. And this, of course, is Predator 2 on Blu-ray. It's got its own disc. So, yeah. Predator 2 is definitely... I know people are going, you like Predator 2 better than the original? I do. I like it. I love Bill Paxton in it. I love Danny Glover. I just think Predator 2 is a more exciting movie than the original, and the original is exciting enough. But, so yeah, I like Predator, and Predator 2 is the runner-up, with the winner being Aliens, the second one. This, of course, is the quadrilogy, so it's in there. But Aliens takes my prize as the number one extraterrestrial subgenre of horror. Yeah, so it wins. The director's cut, of course, not the theatrical cut. Now, his next subgenre was werewolves. I'm trying to remember what he said in the video. I think he said, werewolves was never like a really big, huge thing with him. To me, though, I love my werewolf movies. The standard fare of, American Werewolf in London and all that kind of stuff. Wolfen is definitely at the top. Bad Moon, all that, The Howling is in a face-off with a number one. But The Howling is one of my favorite movies ever. So it definitely, maybe a hair separates it from whom I am choosing tonight as the current winner. But The Howling is the runner-up to Dog Soldiers. Now, Dog Soldiers is phenomenal. This is the 2009 release, which is still very, very beautiful. They did a great job on this. There was a 2015 release that was disgusting. It was hated so bad that just last year, Scream Factory came back, apologized, and did a whole new transfer, and that's this one. The brand new transfer of Dog Soldiers. It is absolutely beautiful. I got the 4K Blu-ray set. So Dog Soldiers takes my top prize as the werewolf subgenre. And next up, of course, we have vampires. The vampires. That was kind of difficult for me because I had all these like little subgenres of that subgenre. You know, you have the romantic, atmospheric subgenre of vampires, like Interview with a Vampire and stuff like that, which I love. And then you have the blood and guts, you know, of Underworld and 30 Days of Night. And then you have the middle of the road, interesting, unique ones like Daybreakers and Abigail and Midnight Sun, and all kind of really interesting takes on vampires. So I chose me a runner-up, and that is The Shed. If you've never seen The Shed is an extremely cool vampire movie. I absolutely love this movie. This is the DVD, which is pretty rare, so I kept it. And of course, I got the Blu-ray as well. So yeah, The Shed, from the producers of the Saw franchise. It's bloody, it's gory, it's very interesting, and it's scary as well. And it's kind of cool. The characters are cool. I really like this movie, The Shed, which is the runner-up to the winner of this subgenre, and that, to me, is Let the Right One In. Let the Right One In is an absolute masterpiece. I love the book, and this is the most true to the book. Let Me In, I like the American version, even though they tried to change a couple of little things. They didn't do it in a way that forces you to ignore the truth. Or the book. This one stays very close to the book. But yes, Let the Right One In is still currently the best vampire movie ever made. Now, of course, that is right alongside of Near Dark. But as usual with this kind of stuff, I really only include stuff I have. And yeah, you can find a DVD of Near Dark for $50 from Australia, and hope you can find something to play it on. But right now, there's still no brand new, there's still no domestic release for Near Dark, so it's a very, very hard to get a hold of, and I do not have it, unfortunately for me. So until I do, it doesn't get included in stuff like this, other than me telling you. Near Dark is right next to Let the Right One In. But this is the winner. Let the Right One In. You cannot get any better than a vampire flick than that. Now, the next subgenre was I had a little bit of difficulty with, and that was creature feature, monster. And I'm like, well, that gator in Lake Placid was one hell of a creature. But then again, it was also like animals. So like he says, some of these genres can like really blend with each other. And, you have Godzilla and King Kong, and you have Cocaine Bear is also a pretty bad creature, but he's not. He's an animal. So is Lake Placid. So, I don't know. This is kind of like one of those really fluid ones that you have to think about. And people can agree or disagree on what they choose to call that. I choose to call The Thing a creature. I do know it's an extraterrestrial, and it can go in that category, which is, I think this won his extraterrestrial category, whereas with me, it's winning the creature feature monster, because I was talking to my brother earlier on the phone, and I was like, telling him the movies I was choosing, and I was like, it's very confusing, I know it's an extraterrestrial, but it's a monster, and he's like, yeah, it was one hell of a monster. So I know it's an extraterrestrial, but it's also a monster. So this is what wins. This is the original Blu-ray release, and this is the special edition remaster. So yes, double dip. I love The Thing, and it wins my creature feature subgenre. The next subgenre is body horror. I've always had an issue with body horror. I'm not really that thrilled with body horror. Sort of like he said werewolves wasn't really his thing. Body horror is really not my thing either. I mean, gross for gross sake can be a little bit difficult. But if I had it, it would be Videodrome. I do not have it. I know there's a 4K of it, but it's a singular 4K, and it is not American. It's not North America. So, no. I haven't found it yet to buy. So, like I said, I don't really even know a lot of body horror. I love Naked Lunch. I like Cronenberg's work, so I like Naked Lunch. I love Videodrome, but I would have to go with The Substance. So it's new, and it immediately takes over, and it is, no question about it, body horror. So yeah, The Substance takes my prize as my favorite body horror film, along with Videodrome. But The Substance is the one that I have, and it is the one that wins. And there we go. Our next subgenre, psychological horror. There's a great deal of that, from The House That Jack Built to anything and everything that you can think of. My winner is sometimes debated whether it's a horror movie or not. I don't know what to tell you, because it is one hell of a horror movie, and that is The Silence of the Lambs. The Silence of the Lambs wins my spot. This is the beautiful Criterion Collection release of The Silence of the Lambs. This beautiful book. It is the bomb, and it is horror. It is psychological horror. And it is the winner of the psychological horror subcategory. If you can find this, it is worth every penny. And moving on to torture porn. I like torture porn. It's just got to be good torture porn. It can't just be, done for no reason. And so my runner-up for torture porn, and everybody, of course, is going to jump on Saw. But actually, I only know Saw 1 and 2. I know Jigsaw pretty well. And I really like number 10. I liked Spiral and Jigsaw. Okay. But as far as a deep dive into Saw, I don't really know it that much. Not enough to call it the best in the franchise. I'd have to actually get into them. I love Saw 1 and 2. But then, like I said, it went too far. I didn't have the stomach at the time, I think, for torture porn. I have grown more accustomed to it, and I'm a little bit better with it now. And the runner-up is Hostel. I really like the original Hostel. I don't like Hostel 2 as much as the original. As a matter of fact, my ranking for the Hostel movies is 1, 3, 2. So, but I do like all three of them. I do have all three of them. So, Hostel is definitely the runner-up. It is brutal. This is the director's cut of both Hostel 1 and 2. On this one, they do come on their own discs. As I said, I was talking to my brother Ugly earlier and telling him my choices, and he said, yeah, that he never wanted to see Hostel again, that it was like really, it disturbed him. And I'm like, I love it. So I love Hostel, and it is the runner up for that subgenre, with the winner to me being I Spit on Your Grave 2 unrated. A lot of people don't really care for this movie, and I don't care that you don't care. It is one of my top 5 vengeance horror films. It is also one of my, well, it's the winner of the Torture Porn Festival. It's definitely torture porn, you know, both what they do to her, but then also what she does to them. But then again, so is the original, and the trilogy, the 2010 trilogy, is also, they're all torture porn, you know. But this is my favorite, I Spit on Your Grave 2. It's an independent standalone film, and I love everything about it. It is very, very exciting torture porn. And I love her vengeance. What is that Lady Gaga song? Bad Romance. Doesn't it have a line in it like that, you know? I want your something and I want your revenge. You and me can have a bad romance. I'm not a Gaga fan, of course, you know, but I do like a couple of her songs, that being one of them. The next subgenre was, or is, possession, haunting, and possession. Now, the runner-up in that subcategory to me is Ghost Story. Now, Ghost Story stars the Borg Queen and the woman from Sleepwalkers. I can't remember her name right now because it's late night, and I wasn't expecting to do this till I got tagged in it, so I wanted to do it. But Ghost Story is like got people you just don't expect to be in a horror movie. I mean, Fred Astaire, for God's sakes, you know, is in this movie, stars in this movie. So it's like really strange. Not only do you not expect these guys to be in a horror movie, Fred Astaire and people like that, but for it to be full of nudity, sex, blood, gore, and scare the shit out of you, while also starring Fred Astaire, is pretty weird. It stars Fred Astaire and Craig Wasson, you know, the guy from Body Double with Melanie Griffith. So yeah, Ghost Story is absolutely phenomenal. It is just one of the best supernatural horror movies ever, and it's definitely the runner-up to the winner, which for me, possession, haunting type movies, we go with The Exorcist 3. With George C. Scott, The Exorcist 3 is just beyond the pale to me. It is so much better than the original to me. It is so much, and then we won't even have to talk about number 2. But The Exorcist 3 is actually my favorite Exorcist movie, and it takes the prize in the haunting possession category. This is the collector's edition from Scream Factory. It's very good, which also has like 2 cuts of the movie. So, yeah, The Exorcist 3 wins the possession category. And next we have Home Invasion. Home Invasion. Well, on that note, you know, a lot of people don't like the new Strangers, but I did. I actually really liked Chapter 1, and I can't wait to see the others. It was exactly what I knew it was supposed to be. A lot of people were angry because, like, this is not a sequel. And I'm like, you should have read about it when it was announced. It's not supposed to be. It's the beginning of a new thing. But, okay, whatever. But I like it. I like the original. I like Pray at Night. I like Funny Games, although Funny Games is very hard to watch. So I like home invasion films. I just got one that's in my update called Standalone from the 80s is fucking fantastic. But it's more action crime as opposed to horror. But still, my runner-up for the home invasion category is Don't Breathe. This movie scared the shit out of me. I will not deny that. It's kind of a reverse home invasion. Like, the home invaders are the victims as opposed to the other way around, you know? But at the same time, are they really? I mean, he was the victim. They did break in on him to hurt him and steal his shit. So, but yeah. Don't Breathe is like one of the best home invasion films. They really picked the wrong home to invade. And that leads to the winner of that subgenre, which to me is also, I think this is the second time me and him chose the same movie, and that is You're Next. You're Next is absolutely a masterpiece and flawless, and is definitely the winner of this subgenre, home invasion. Great final girl, you know, Erin is amazing. The whole cast is amazing. It's extremely fun, extremely entertaining, and it's just one of those you can keep going back to over and over and over. So, yeah, Your Next is definitely the winner. Now, that was the end of the 13 subgenres, but it's kind of weird because there's 2 other subgenres that I'm going to add myself, just for me, I guess. And that is because they are my second and third favorite subgenre of horror. And that is Killer Kids and Vengeance horror. So in the Killer Kids category, we have The Boy. Now, of course, we have Children of the Corn and The Devil Times 5 and The Children and Brightburn. There's just a plethora. Prodigy. I love Killer Kid movies. They are my second favorite subgenre of horror. And it wasn't included in his tag, so I'm just adding it myself. But The Boy, this is not the puppet one. This is the different one. And they were released the same year too, which kind of sucks. It makes it hard to like go searching for them. But you can definitely tell the cover. So The Boy was released in like 2015, and it's got Rainn Wilson in it. I love this movie. This movie is just phenomenal, and it's definitely the runner-up. I mean, it's definitely the winner of the Killer Kids movie to me. It stands alongside of Children of the Corn, which would be another favorite. So yeah, but for the Killer Kids subgenre, we have The Boy. And then, of course, like I said, my third favorite subgenre of horror is Vengeance horror, which of course we had, I Spit on Your Grave too, but those also really qualify as torture porn. There's other Vengeance that doesn't qualify as that, like Death Sentence and Court the Death Wish and Jodie Foster and The Brave One and stuff like that. But my top winner for Vengeance horror is 2017's Revenge. Bloody, gory, well-deserved. Oh. With a little supernatural twist. Tell me she wasn't dead on that tree. You know it was. Those little magical ants, I don't know what they did to her, but they brought her back to life because she was dead, dead, dead. She was turning blue. We can debate this. She was dead and turning blue. There was no breath. You don't get impaled on a tree like that and live through it. However, Especially from what? A 50-foot fall? Come on. Those ants did something. I'm not sure what. They imbued her with some kind of desert power. But 2017's Revenge is a bloody, gory fun fest. It's almost a slasher with just 3 victims. But she makes the best use of those 3 victims. So we have 2017's Revenge as the winner of the Vengeance Horror subgenre. And there you go. I really don't know anyone to tag other than the ones he had already tagged. I don't know anyone who sits down and does these kind of videos, other channels, that he didn't already mention. So get to work, boys. But yeah, that is my 13 plus 2. So that is my 13 horror subgenres tag video for Nick at the Movie Ranker, and I'll put the link to his video in the description so you can see his choices in these subgenres. And I will see you in the next thing I do. Love you, miss you, bye-bye. Always remember and never forget, you're a very, very special person. Even if you have difficulty choosing the winner of subgenres like I did, because believe me, it was difficult, but I just was not going to spend that much time. I'm like, I just can't. I'm going to sit here and drive myself crazy trying to choose which one is just the current favorite. It's no slam against any other in the genre. Bye-bye. See you in the next